If your legs do this, you have less than 4 years to live. Stop ignoring. Hello, I am Dr. David. I want you to take a second to look down at your feet. Have you ever wondered why some people in their 80s still walk briskly and jog every morning, while others who have just reached their 60s begin to walk tremblingly, with every step being an effort? Throughout my decades as a geriatrician, I have encountered thousands of patients. Most people are extremely worried when their blood pressure rises slightly or when they gain a few kilograms. But there is a medical truth that will shock you. Your legs reveal the number of years you have left more accurately than any blood test or blood pressure monitor. A shocking recent study has shown that small changes, I emphasize very small, in the legs can predict the risk of death within the next 4 years if we continue to ignore them. Legs are not just tools for movement. They are the body's earliest alarm system. Today, in this episode, I will reveal 5 life and death signs in the legs that the body is using to whisper to you about your cardiovascular status, circulation, and overall health. Do not wait until the body stops whispering and has to scream through a stroke or heart failure, as by then it may be too late. Before we dive into sign number 1, what we doctors call the 6th vital sign, please take 3 seconds to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Why? Because the knowledge I share here is practical medical knowledge, filtered to help you maintain independence and health after age 60. And leave a comment saying I am watching right under this video, so I know you are joining me in protecting your own health. Now let's talk about the first sign, walking speed. In our field of geriatric medicine, walking speed is not simply a habit of being fast or slow. We call it the 6th vital sign, as important as heart rate, respiratory rate, temperature, blood pressure, and oxygen levels. Why is walking speed so important? Imagine that walking steadily requires a massive coordination of the entire system in the body. Heart must pump blood strongly enough to nourish the muscles. Respiratory system must provide enough oxygen to create energy. Nervous system must transmit signals accurately from the brain to the legs. Musculoskeletal system must have enough strength to support the body's weight. If just one link in this system weakens, your walking speed will automatically slow down as a protective mechanism. If you notice yourself slowing down by more than 20% compared to yourself a year ago, that is exactly a cry for help from the internal operating system. I have a patient named George, 76 years old. He used to be a very energetic person, walking so fast that his grandchildren had to run to keep up. But recently, George found himself always being the last person during family walks. He clicked his tongue and said, "Maybe I am just old. My legs are just a bit weak." But when I checked, the truth was not in his knee joints. It was George's heart that was weakening silently. It no longer had enough power to push blood down to the large muscle groups in the thighs and calves. George's legs were not weak at all. They were just starving for blood and oxygen. Fortunately, by detecting this sign of slowing down, we intervened in time before he suffered an acute heart failure. Do not worry too much if you are naturally a slow walker. What you need to care about is change. If you find yourself having to stop and rest more during a short distance that you used to walk very easily, if you feel short of breath when trying to maintain your old speed, start performing exercises I call restoring the flow. Slow squats at home. Stand with your back against a wall or hold onto a sturdy chair. Slowly lower yourself and stand up. This movement helps strengthen the muscle pump in the thighs. Calf raises. Whenever you are standing waiting to cook or watching TV, lift your heels up and down 20 times. Calves are known as the second heart of the body. Lifting the heels helps push venous blood back to the heart more effectively. Remember, healthy legs are the foundation of a resilient heart. Now we will move to sign number 2, a sign that many people often overlook because they think it is due to walking too much or the weather. That is, swelling and a heavy feeling in the legs. Have you ever, at the end of the day when you take off your socks, seen a very deep indentation around your ankles? Or when you press your finger into your shin bone, the pit takes a long time to disappear. Sometimes you feel as if your legs are carrying 2 blocks of lead, with every step feeling heavy. In a healthy body, blood is pumped by the heart down to the legs and then pushed back to the heart by venous valves and calf muscles. However, when these venous valves weaken, or more seriously when the heart no longer pumps effectively enough, blood will pool in the lowest part of the body due to gravity, which is the legs. When blood pools, the pressure in the blood vessels increases, pushing water out into the surrounding tissues, causing swelling, edema. If the swelling is accompanied by a heavy feeling in the legs and lasts more than 3 days in a week, I want you to pay serious attention. This is not simply a matter of aesthetics or fatigue. This could be an early sign of heart failure. The heart is not strong enough to pull blood back, causing fluid to pool in the lower limbs. Kidney failure. The body fails to excrete excess fluid and salt. Chronic venous insufficiency. Risk of causing extremely dangerous blood clots. Mrs. Linda, 74 years old, came to see me with swollen legs. She thought she just needed to drink some diuretic tea. But upon closer inspection, Linda had a habit of eating very salty food. Salt is what holds water. For an aging heart, having to pump an excess volume of fluid held back by salt is like forcing an old car to carry an overload uphill. After only 2 weeks of reducing salt and performing leg elevation exercises, her legs became slim again and her breathing became much easier. Act now to save the situation. Elevate your legs. Every day, spend 15 to 20 minutes resting with your legs elevated above the level of your heart. This helps gravity support blood and fluid flow back to the center of the body easily. Salt reduction rule. Remove condiment bottles from the dining table. Use herbs to increase flavor instead of salt. Reducing pressure on the kidneys and heart is the best way to reduce leg swelling. Light movement. Do not sit in one place for too long. Every hour, stand up and walk a few steps to activate the calf muscle pump system. Dear friends, we have just analyzed the first 2 signs. Walking speed and swelling. These are macro signals that you can observe with the naked eye. However, our journey to protect longevity still has 3 more extremely subtle signs, especially the signs of numbness and changes in skin color. These are micro signals that show to what extent your blood vessels are blocked, and they have the ability to predict a stroke or limb embolism with staggering accuracy. Let's begin to go into detail on the remaining signs. Sign 3. Numbness and tingling, when nerves are starved. Imagine you are sitting watching TV, and suddenly you feel as if thousands of tiny needles are pricking the flesh in your calves or feet. Or sometimes you walk and feel your feet are numb, not feeling real, like you are walking on a thick layer of foam padding. What is the medical truth? The nerves in the legs are extremely sensitive and picky parts. They require a massive amount of oxygen and nutrients to transmit signals. When small blood vessels feeding the nerves narrow due to cholesterol plaques or high blood sugar levels, these nerves immediately become hungry. The feeling of numbness, tingling, or burning is actually the cry of the nerves when they are being damaged. This is a classic sign of peripheral artery disease, PAD. Research shows that people who frequently experience leg numbness have a 3 times higher risk of stroke than normal. Why? Because if the blood vessels in the legs are narrow enough to paralyze nerves, then the blood vessels in the brain are in a similar state of alarm. Harold, a 78-year-old patient of mine, often felt a buzzing sensation in his calves every evening. He thought it was because he sat too much so the blood wasn't circulating. But when I gave him a screening test, we discovered the arteries in his legs were up to 60% blocked. That tingling sensation was not from sitting too much, but because his nerves were slowly dying from lack of oxygen. Do not sit still for more than 30 minutes. Make rotating your ankles and stretching your toes a natural reflex. Every time you move, you are activating the flow of life from the heart down to the furthest nerves. It is the simplest medicine to nourish your legs. Sign number 4 is very specific. You start walking, and after about 5 to 10 minutes, your calves or thighs feel sharp pain and contraction like a cramp. You have to stop, rest for a bit, and the pain disappears. But when you continue walking, the pain returns to that exact same spot. In medicine, we call this intermittent claudication. Imagine your arterial system as a water pipe that has become rusted and clogged after many years. When you rest, the small amount of water flowing through the pipe is still enough. But when you exercise, walk, the muscles require 5 to 10 times more blood than usual to have oxygen to function. At this point, the rusted pipe cannot meet the demand. The starved muscles will go into severe spasms to force you to stop. The scary truth. Geriatricians always say, the legs are the second heart. If the arteries in your legs are blocked enough to cause pain when walking, then it is almost certain that the coronary arteries in the heart and the carotid arteries in the neck are in a similar condition. This is a direct warning of a risk of a heart attack in the near future. Frank once gave up the habit of going to the park because after just a few steps, his legs would hurt as if someone was squeezing the muscles hard. He thought it was old age stiffness. But after being diagnosed and treated to clear the vessels, he was amazed that not only did the leg pain stop, but he also felt more alert and his chest felt less heavy. What is your action? Absolutely quit smoking. Tobacco is a toxin that destroys the vascular endothelial layer the fastest. No medicine can save your legs if you still smoke. Controlled exercise. Do not stop walking because of pain. Walk gently until the pain starts, then stop to rest and then continue. This process helps the body create collateral vessels, extra pipes to save the blocked area. The final sign is also a sign that the situation has become quite serious. Changes in temperature and color. Have you ever noticed one of your feet feeling icy cold while the other is normal? Or when you look in the mirror, do you see your leg skin looking pale, or even turning a bluish purple or grayish tint, especially in the evening? In a healthy body, blood carries warmth and the red hue of hemoglobin to every cell. When the legs are cold and discolored, it means the blood, the life force of the body, is unable to reach the furthest frontier, which is the feet. When blood does not arrive and oxygen is absent, small scratches can become ulcers that never heal. Nerves will slowly die, and in the worst cases, it leads to necrosis. This is a sign that your heart and vascular system are in a state of exhaustion. Small tips from Dr. David. Daily check. Form a habit of checking the color and temperature of your feet every morning. Warm foot soak. Caution: you can soak your feet to stimulate circulation, but you must absolutely test the temperature with your hand first to avoid burns because the nerves in the feet have decreased sensation. Gentle massage. Use essential oils or moisturizer to massage from the toes up to the calves to support venous blood returning to the heart. Dear friends, we have gone through the signs from walking speed, swelling, to numbness, pain, and color changes. I know you may be feeling worried, but remember, the purpose of knowledge is for action, not for fear. The human body, especially in the twilight years, has a miraculous recovery capacity if cared for properly. To stop depletion and reverse aging, I give you this 3-step roadmap. Exercise is breath. Do not see exercise as a burden. See it as the way you pump life into your blood vessels. 10 squats while holding a chair, 15 minutes of slow walking, a few calf raises. All are valuable. Nutrition is material. The brain and legs need protein to maintain muscle. Reduce salt to protect the heart, reduce sugar to protect nerves, and drink enough water so the blood does not become too thick. Listening is wisdom. Never ignore the whispers of your body. If you notice the signs I just mentioned lasting more than a week, see a specialist immediately. One early checkup can be worth 10 healthy years ahead. Your legs have carried your whole life, through the ups and downs, the joys and the sorrows. Now, at this age, they deserve your attention, patience, and gratitude. Thank you for taking the precious time to accompany me throughout these 120 dedicated minutes. Your presence is the motivation for me to continue bringing evidence-based medical knowledge to everyone. Please leave a comment saying I will exercise my legs so that we can together commit to living a brilliant and independent old age. Do not forget to like and subscribe to support me. I am Dr. David, wishing you to always walk firmly, full of life and peace on your own legs. See you in the next videos.